We're going to talk about all of this, plus your chats right here on the Big Ten Team Rivalry Show, where we have expert trash talk and unrivaled analysis. But this sounds drastic, but I suppose you have to take drastic action when your head coach can't count to 11. I was almost ready to call it off. This is ridiculous.
Let's get into it. Let's talk football. That's going to make us both feel a lot better. And they've finally figured out a winning formula in the last three. Well, I mean, they've been winning the whole time. They just haven't been winning the championships that we won. I mean, Michigan was never a bad team except for maybe 2017 and 2020. Okay, this is really dumb. Why? Maybe it's not dumb. That at the end of this, the NCAA is going to have more egg on their face than Michigan is.
If you're between 19 and 23 years old and people are throwing millions of dollars at you, that's got to mess with your head.
That might be a pipe dream. That might be a pipe dream. I'm just thinking because
it might be, but it would be a lot of fun.
That would be sweet. How long has this segment gone on? Like 40 minutes?
Welcome to the Big Ten Team Rivalry Show. This is how things go around here, and you know that because you've seen the show before. All 691 subscribers, by the way, thank you for that.
How many people are going to tune in for the Michigan-Ohio State game now, knowing that the loser of this game can still make the playoffs? I just heard the screams of all of my brain cells die.
Well, actually, hold up, maybe. We're going to get to this. We'll get to this when we talk more about the spring game.
Hey, we have this tradition here that we ask all of our guests, of which you are the first. So it's not a long-standing tradition. All right, well, I do want to be respectful of time. I told Ted we do.
We're having so much fun. We're having so much fun.
It's interesting because he said that the goal of the NCAA at this point is to just not get sued anymore.
Yeah, even after these last 3 years, we still represent hard. I mean, you got to rep your team, right? You know?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. But the problem was that they weren't pulling in, like, Ohio State level recruiting classes, and this is a huge concern. But then Harbaugh goes and wins a national championship with a bunch of 3 stars, a handful of 4 stars, and then a couple of 5 stars. Because, yeah, I mean, Michigan really couldn't throw the ball at all because Chop Robinson's pass rush was just insane. I mean, that guy was awesome. He was everywhere, and he was giving Carson Barnhart all sorts of issues, and that's actually why Jerome Moore pivoted in-game to running 30 bajillion some odd times in a row.
Between Tom Osborne and Solich, they had like 30 years of just destroying everybody.
Yes. Yeah.
And now it's legal? I'm sorry. Was Jim Harbaugh like the biggest college football revolutionary ever?
I'll tell you this. No one willingly lives in Ohio. Case in point, Garrison here. My dear friend.
No comment.
Jim Harbaugh has just introduced a brand new era of college football.
Kalen DeBoer, in order to keep up with Nick Saban, all DeBoer has to do is win 6 national championships in 17 years to match Nick Saban.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
It was very nice.
I really appreciate it.
I can tell you wrote with, like, from the heart. Like,
Oh, absolutely.
It really meant something to you, and I can appreciate that.
I really appreciate you appreciating how much I appreciate this because it meant a lot to me. It was.
I appreciate that.
Mac, take us out.
This is the Big Ten Team Rivalry Show. Good night, everybody, and thanks for joining with us. Joining us, not with us. We're already here.
and J.J. McCarthy. Take the handoff, and Alec Manis is going to throw a pick. They give it to Corum. Up back, Corum, touchdown, Wolverine. Roman Wilson does it again. Corum finds some daylight. He's got some speed and some blockers. Outside, turns the corner. Blake Corum down the sideline. Looking over the middle, caught, touchdown, Wolverine. McCarthy extends the play, now using legs. McCarthy at first down.
Woo! All right, there we go.
Woo!
Glory days.
Check it out.
I just see a blue blob. What is that?
I have terrible news. Michigan might kind of suck this year. All right.
Yeah, well, we'll get into that. Good evening, everybody. The big story this week is adjusting expectations, and actually, it's not just for Michigan. Also,
How did I do this?
I don't know.
I'm sorry.
You mess it up. Okay.
I'm very
Also,
sorry. That's my bad.
This is week 3 of the Pigskin Showdown. Much of the Big Ten Brady Bunch is back. Most of them, we've got people you know. And I'll be introducing them in just a moment. All right here on the Big Ten Team Rivalry Show, which reminds me, we're going to be going over some game picks. While we're doing game picks, you guys are more than welcome to throw your picks in there and let us know what you think. While we give you our expert trash talk and unrivaled analysis, I am your host, Cliff. With me, as always, is Mac. I hope you all enjoyed watching football last weekend. Michigan didn't actually play or something. I don't know. I blacked out after about 2 o'clock on Saturday. Mac, how are you doing?
That long? You lasted that long?
I did last that long, yeah.
I think, let's see, I started crying at about 12:30. My nose started running uncontrollably at about 1 o'clock. I think it was about 1:15 that I sort of started getting delirious, maybe a little bit tired. 2 o'clock, I'm pretty sure my heart stopped. Yeah. And then about 3 o'clock, I was like, okay, what?
Yeah.
And that's where I'm at.
Yeah, it was that kind of weekend.
Yeah, it sucked.
What are you
Actually, I'm doing okay because unlike other Michigan fans, I'm coping very well by completely shifting my allegiances.
To the team that didn't score any points?
That was expected.
That was expected. Okay.
They performed
Is that how we're dealing with things now?
That's how I'm dealing with things. If we're not expected to win, then I don't care if we lose.
It's okay if we don't.
Call me when MAC conference games start. Then I'll start getting upset.
All right. Fair enough. Before we get into all of the hullabaloo, we're going to hit the check down, where we bring you the latest news in college football and beyond. Mac, feel free to comment at will. This week on the check down, a lot like Texas scored on Michigan. Just comment at will. This week on the check down, we're looking at the most interesting stats of the weekend, according to me. And this is how it works. The Big Ten shutouts now stand at 6. Last week, we had Illinois, Iowa, and Purdue with shutouts. This week, Ohio State, USC, and last week's only loser, Minnesota. Only one of these teams, however, has risen in the rankings, and that's USC. I don't make up the AP poll. They do.
Wait, what?
What? USC is the only team that actually rose in the rankings this week. Ohio State went down. Minnesota's still not ranked. Penn State
went. Okay, all right, never mind. Keep moving.
Actually, I think you're right. Penn State may have gone up, but
I'm pretty
out
sure
of
Penn
those
State
teams,
went up.
out of Ohio State, USC, and Minnesota.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
I see what you're
all
saying.
Right. Meanwhile, Indiana is storming the castle. Last year, after week 2, they put up 44 points and allowed 30. By the end of the year, they had fired their coach and brought in Kurt Cignetti. This year, after 2 games, Indiana has put up 108 points.
What?
And allowed 10. Things are a-changin' in Hoosierville.
Okay.
I'm not kidding.
All right.
Not a joke.
I need to start paying. Man, I wish Rochelle was an Indiana fan. She doesn't care. She's from Bloomington and just doesn't care about football. Man, that would have been such a cool rivalry. Like, hey, the Hoosiers are actually doing well this year, wife.
Yeah. Last week, one Big Ten team lost, as I said, Minnesota by 2 points. This week, 4 Big Ten teams lost. Northwestern by 6 points, Maryland by 3 points, Iowa by 1 point, and there was another one, but I forgot to look it up. I don't remember. I should have tried to figure that out. Oh, right. It was Michigan by 19 points. Oddly enough, Michigan is the only one of those teams that are ranked. Still.
For now.
Speaking of Michigan, Michigan lost to Texas. I don't know. It doesn't really matter. And is now ranked 17. It also ended their 17-game winning streak. It also knocked them out of the top 10 for the first time since October 2nd, 2021. The reaction, of course, for Michigan fans is it's over. It's done. We're through with this.
Mm-hmm.
Which makes me wonder, maybe we really are the most insufferable fan base. I mean, it's one loss and you're out.
I mean, here's the thing. You say that, but have you ever met a Central Michigan fan?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. All right. I guess I haven't, but
All right.
well, maybe I have actually. I don't know.
I have. Well, they stay pretty quiet. A lot like Eastern Michigan fans. They stay pretty quiet.
Maybe that's just because I'm a Western alum that they start talking trash to me, but they're insufferable.
maybe.
I can't stand them. That's why every
right.
cheer at Western Michigan, it doesn't matter who we're playing, every cheer at some point ends with F Central.
Oh, nice.
That's
That's good quality cheering. That's what you want in your cheer squad.
It's high quality stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So Iowa learned an important lesson Saturday. The best coach for their team is the guy who was suspended last week. I'm sorry. The best coach for their team is the guy who wasn't suspended last week. Iowa.
Do we need
Iowa
to
learned
practice?
an important lesson last week. No, Iowa learned an important lesson Saturday. The best coach for their team is the guy who wasn't suspended last week. Ayo!
There you go.
There we go.
I think they learned another lesson actually. All of
Don't
you
ask me to
Hawkeye
call the
fans. Yeah, that too. All of you Hawkeye fans owe Brian Ferentz a massive apology because turns out it wasn't all his
Big
fault.
apology. Yeah.
Bigly,
Yeah.
hugely.
Oregon may not be playing as poorly as Michigan, but they are definitely headed in the wrong direction. The Ducks are 2-0 and falling in the rankings. This week they play in-state rivals, the Oregon State Beavers. They'll probably win, and it probably won't matter. The best stat of the week, the rule aid is working, and Nebraska is once again ranked. Check this out. They entered the AP this week at 23 after beating Colorado 28-10.
Hey!
The Huskers. What makes this stat so interesting is that the last time they were ranked was September 7th, 2019. That's 5 years ago for those of you in East Lansing. September 7th, 2019, when they lost to Colorado 34-31.
Wow. All right.
I know. It's fantastic.
That's interesting. Okay.
I know,
Cool
but I think
stat.
the rule aid is working over there in Nebraska. I think the turnaround is happening faster than they expected.
I like it. That's awesome.
This has been the Check Down. If you like what you've seen so far, don't forget to smash the like button. And as long as you're there, slide a little bit to the left and hit the subscribe button. We are on our way to 1,000. We are at 904 right now. We just need 96 more subscribers. Thank you to everyone who has subscribed already. And you know what, Mac? I forgot. Do you have a Judge Mac segment?
Kind of. No, let's skip it.
You want to skip it? All right.
Oh, I've got. Okay, let's just real quick.
Okay,
so that,
we're going back. Here we go.
Yeah, just
I hit the
do
button.
It real
I don't
quick
like to do
so
things
that,
twice.
Well, it's just we're gonna do this real quick so that Keegan can say "all rise" because I know he likes to do that.
We now turn to Judge Mac for his latest opinion and judgment on the world of college football. Please rise in unison. Go. There we go. Keegan just said it. All rise.
He said "all rise." Okay. All right. We're good. Here's my judgment. If you are following Steve Dace on Twitter, unfollow him for the sake of your mental health. That's all I've got. That's it.
Oh,
We're done. Moving on.
You may be seated. If you like Judge Mac's judgment, please like and subscribe for more.
I gotta
Now-
actually come up with like a judgment. We got to structure that segment a little better so that I'm actually like giving a judgment. Like, here's an argument. Here's an argument. I judge. You all suck.
Yeah, I think you can shorten that and say we need to structure.
Yes. That's
Anyway,
true.
let's do this.
Bring on the panel.
We are now in the Pigskin Rivalry Showdown. Pigskin Showdown Rivalry. Rivalry is not really a part of it. Now we're going to bring on our guests. Except I just closed it. There we go.
We were so prepared.
We were prepared. We actually had too much time today, and we messed everything. Or I messed everything up. Anyway, here we go.
That's true. It was
Let's
entirely
see.
your fault.
I got to do this because Jackson came in and saved the day here by keeping us from living in enemy territory on our own show. Our first guest, Jackson Johnson.
Hey.
How
Of
you doing,
the-
gentlemen?
Doing all right. How are you, Jackson?
I'm doing pretty good. I bet you Margot Robbie had a great time at the front row seat in the movie theater watching Nebraska get beat by Colorado on September 2019. Oh, ironically enough, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood was out in that time.
Oh, nice.
So that was pretty fun.
Well, Jackson,
Wow,
I
that's
did
good.
throw all of your links into the chat there,
appreciate
but do you want to go ahead and give us the rundown on where everybody can find you?
Oh, they can find me on YouTube at Jackson Johnson 979, where I'm 134 subs away from that magic number 500. I plan to get there before the end of the season, and I'm hoping to get to 1,000. They can also find me at Jackson VOCFB on X. They can find me on Instagram and Threads at Jackson Johnson 543908, and of course, they can find me on Alabama at The Voice College Football, where I co-host with Johnny Burtz. Crimson Tide Live on Alabama at The Voice College Football. And on today's episode, we had on the host of Locked On Badgers, Ryan Herrings, discussing his take on the Alabama-Wisconsin matchup at Camp Randall Stadium on mid-noon kickoff. And let me tell you something, folks, it was a wild ride and it was awesome.
Nice.
right.
That's awesome.
Our next guest is a guy who's practically a regular on the show now. We've got Garrison from the Scarlet and Blue Show. Garrison, how are you doing?
I'm doing good, guys. Just coming off a big win against the vaunted Broncos of Western Michigan.
Yeah, that's right.
Man,
Show
I
some
can't-
respect to your daddy.
Man. I do want to give you guys your props. If you're gonna lose, look good doing it. And man, were those jerseys nice.
Weren't they? Aren't they clean?
Oh, they were, but I like the
man,
yellow on it.
At least they didn't lose like Colorado. Like, I mean, did anybody see that press conference of Shedeur Sanders? Oh my God! Like,
That
he
was
was
bad.
he was blaming his own line for everything.
Yeah.
They are trash.
Yeah, but
he
I
ducked
mean,
out like 2 minutes early, didn't he?
Yeah.
yeah, but you got to talk to them privately. You don't be airing it out on camera, on air, nothing. Like, if you got to promise
Yeah.
somebody, you talk with them privately, man to man.
Yeah.
I agree.
That is
I mean-
absolutely true. Yeah.
Although, like this week, 60 Minutes is going to tell us how great Colorado State is.
All right, before we get into that, our next guest is from Buckeyes Battle Cry. He is pretty much a regular on the show, too. This has got to be his second or third appearance. We've got Rob from Buckeyes Battle Cry. Rob, how you doing?
How's it going? Hey, so after the Michigan-Texas laws, if you listened quietly in a cold fall night, you could hear Wolverines crying.
You've been waiting 3 years for that one, haven't
No,
you?
I've been saying it. I've been saying it almost every year except the last 3. So
Hey, Rob, here's a
Well,
fun fact for you.
The year's not over for Michigan. Matter of fact, the year's not over for anybody. Unless
Oh,
you're Florida
it's over.
State.
It's
Unless you're Florida State, the year's not over for anybody in college.
might be over for
football.
Notre Dame, too. I don't know.
Hey, Rob, here's a
yeah.
fun fact for you, man. Wolverines don't
Oh.
exist in the state of Michigan.
That's not
Funny.
true. They found
Well,
one a few years
now
ago.
Now that Michigan lost to Texas, they are now 17-2 all time when wearing the all blue uniforms. That first loss was to Georgia in the 2021 Orange Bowl. So it's like the all blue uniforms are usually a good luck charm. And I'll be honest, when I saw that on Friday, I was like, crap, I think I screwed up my pick.
No, you didn't.
You know what, Garrison? I think Garrison, stand by. Rob, why don't you give us your socials? Where can everybody find you?
You can find on YouTube Buckeyes Battle Cry and on TikTok at Buckeye Rob 13.
All right, Garrison, I don't think I asked you what your socials were. Why don't you give everybody your socials?
Yeah, so we actually fixed this up earlier, me and Jackson. You can find us at Scarlet Blue Show, anywhere on Instagram, Facebook, X, and then myself. You can find me at Buckeye_Gaddy on X, and then also my awesome co-host and best friend Bryce Sack. You can find him at Bryce R Sack on X.
All right. Any links you guys want to drop in the chat, feel free. I don't mind anybody repping their own shows and whatnot, so go ahead. Our next guest, one more guest, we have Pete, also from Buckeyes Battle Cry. Pete, how you doing?
Hey, I'm doing well, man. How you guys doing tonight?
Doing all right.
Not as good as you.
Yeah, we're sitting pretty high. We're sitting pretty good. Well,
we're
waiting for our first actual challenge of the season, though, too. So.
Yeah. I really like what I saw from Ohio State on Saturday. You know, from the first time around that they played against Akron, you know, I thought they were a little slow on offense, but, you know, they came out, you know, swinging on Saturday night against Western Michigan, and they put up a lot of points early on, and just a big improvement on the offense side of the ball. Wasn't really worried about the defense, but I like how they put the pedal to the metal and, you know, didn't step on the brake at any point.
It's impressive.
Pete, why don't you give us your socials? I know half of them are the same as Rob's, but what do you got on your own?
For sure. Of course, obviously, here on YouTube at Buckeyes Battle Cry, and TikTok actually is now Buckeyes Battle Cry as well. And then we're on Facebook and Instagram as well as Buckeyes Battle Cry. So, yeah, you can find us all those spots.
Excellent. Keegan is asking if I have a stunt double. I don't know why, but yes, I often use a stunt double, especially when I'm on YouTube shows, because that way when I mess up, I can blame somebody else. It works. It works. All right, guys. So Jackson, I have to thank Jackson especially because I messaged him about 30 minutes ago and said, hey, can you come on the show? Because we had Justin Adams was going to be here and Bryce was going to be here. Neither of them could make it. So Jackson is keeping Mac and I from being in enemy territory on our own show.
Man.
Because otherwise we'd have Garrison, Rob, and Pete, all Buckeye fans. So we have an Alabama fan now to help us out.
No, they're the enemy for me. They're the enemy for me.
Okay.
I was going to say,
level the playing field a little bit here.
I don't know that, you know, Alabama is really the next best option for us, considering we ended their best coach ever his whole career. Like, I'm just saying, like, I can't imagine they're too happy with us either.
Well, I noticed that Coach Saban, he didn't like how a lot of the Bama players reacted to the loss. He was not too happy about it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Saban is not real happy with the whole NIL thing either. He's, he's an old school regional college football kind of guy.
I don't know
Although
why.
I understand there's a lot of talk about all of the under the table money going around in the SEC, but
I wouldn't be surprised by, like, anytime there's a mistake made. You know, like how there's, like, I don't know if anybody here watches, like, Gunsmoke on, like, TV Land or MeTV INSP, but there's, like, that First Color episode where Marshall Dillon, you know, retires from being Marshall, and then he's like, hey, you can't be acting bad. Oh, right, I'm not Marshall. And Dot, like, mentions it's hard to break old habits. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised we see Coach Saban doing that, where he's at, like, a game, and he's like, hey, you can't be doing that. Can't be doing that. Like, oh, right. I'm at
from the
College
stands.
Game Day. I forget.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think he's still got those coach instincts, kind of like how Matt Dillon has those Marshall Dillon instincts.
Yeah. Well, we saw it, Big Noon Kickoff. Michigan fans were still giving Urban Meyer a hard time.
Obviously.
I was there, and I was
call him daddy.
Loudly for Urban, trying to drown out, but obviously wasn't going to work against the sea of Wolverine fans. But I was shouting for him every chance I got.
Nice.
I I wasn't able to watch the Big Ten noon kickoff, but I heard that Charles Woodson took the 2024 national championship trophy and put it right in front of Urban. The ultimate troll job.
I think he did. Yeah,
That's pretty great. I like that. That's awesome.
Even as a Buckeye fan, I thought that was pretty funny.
It is, yeah.
All right, guys. So the rule. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
But he was probably like, you know what? I got 3 of those, so have fun with your one. So
yeah. Is Urban Meyer the coach that has a national championship from 3 different schools?
it's actually 2 from Florida and 1 from Ohio State.
He's the first to ever do it. No, second to ever do it.
Nick Saban was the first.
Yeah.
Nick Saban had 1 at LSU and sits at Alabama.
LSU. Okay. All right. I know. It's outrageous. All right. The rules tonight, guys. Trash talk is allowed, as you know already. That really is the only rule. This week, the reason we're going over slightly different teams than we went over last week is because Rutgers, USC, number 3 Ohio State, and number 8 Penn State are all on bye weeks. And by the way, as it stands right now, if the Big Ten championship were this weekend, it would be Ohio State versus Penn State. I don't know if anybody saw that coming, but
I just think it's really funny how Ohio State needed a bye week after playing the incredible Titans that are Akron and Western Michigan. I know they must be quite exhausted from that, considering how soft their coach is. I know that he probably needs to lay down, take a nap.
Are you downplaying a rivalry game with Akron? Don't downplay a rivalry game. What's wrong? Come on.
I don't know if you guys saw Mark Rogers, the top 25 that actually makes sense, but neither Michigan or Ohio State are in his top 25.
Nebraska is at 5 in his top 25. That actually makes sense. And he's got Northern Illinois in that top 25, and Notre Dame's not in it.
Oh, yeah.
If you understand it, you can miss fine.
About the AP poll was Notre Dame's still ahead of Northern Illinois. Oh, Notre Dame's a blue. Yeah, I don't care. They haven't played like one. You lost to Northern Illinois.
Right.
You stunk like horse dung. You stunk like horse dung on NBC on the Peacock app against Northern Illinois. That's no.
How long does Marcus Freeman last in South Bend? That's what I want to know.
As long as Sharon Moore does.
Right there. I know that. I know that Matt Zemek wrote an article on Trojan's Wire where he talked about how the questions that everybody had for Lincoln Riley should have gone to Marcus Freeman, and he wasn't because I mean, like Coach Freeman, apparently they can win the big games, but they can't win the games that they should always win, like Marshall in 2022. And against Stanford in 2022, they obviously can't get it done against Northern Illinois. I mean, I don't know if I can trust them get it done against Purdue. I may have to take a little time with that one.
Well, and he also loses games in which he can't count to 11.
Obviously,
he's like the opposite of Brian Kelly. Brian Kelly won the games he was supposed to win, and Marcus Freeman is losing the games that he shouldn't lose. So just the complete opposite.
Speaking of Brian Kelly, because I stay away from Brian Kelly slander. GVSU's 1-0, 55-0 last week. So
hey, all right. I gotta like stay up to date with GVSU because I live like just down the road from their campus. So I feel like I should be more of a fan of them.
Dude, it's actually so my girlfriend's roommates, I don't want to say too much information, but her boyfriend is a very important player on their team. He had a great game. He's probably going to be an NFL guy. So
okay, quarterback,
lineman.
Oh, a draft steal, okay. Nice.
All right, nice.
All right, guys, here we go. You guys all know the games we picked out, and the questions I'm looking at, and you can. These are just reference questions. Obviously, you guys can say whatever you want, but it's the questions I'm looking at are what do you expect from the Big Ten team in the games we talk about? What's your score prediction, or at the very least, who will win? Our first game is Notre Dame at Purdue. And we all saw a little bit of a shock this past weekend as Notre Dame lost to Northern Illinois 14-16. Purdue, on the other hand, utterly obliterated Indiana State. I didn't actually see that coming. It looks like Ryan Walters may be turning Purdue around faster than we expected. This
Hold
is what?
Calm
I know
down.
it's Indiana State. I get that, but still, look at Purdue
Calm-
last year.
Just stop.
I don't think this would have happened last year.
Move past it.
All right.
You don't know what you're talking about.
You keep waving your hand like this, like you think you're some sort of Jedi or something.
Man, give out the Jedi mind trick. Oh, by the way, rest in peace to James Earl Jones. He went.
Oh yeah, man. What a
we
bummer.
were going to talk about that. Yeah, just real quick. If anybody wants to say anything about James Earl Jones, obviously is it's fun. Fun. It's as Michigan fans. I didn't find this out until I think I didn't find this out until actually that hype video he did for the stadium is when I found out that he was actually a Michigan alumni. But I mean, I go all the way back to 1977. I saw the first Star Wars when I was 6 years old, and James Earl Jones has been a name I have known since I was a child, and Star Wars was a movie that imprinted on me, and I've seen it. I mean, I'm really not exaggerating when I say I've seen the original Star Wars movies like 1,000 times a piece. So yeah, this is one of those losses that for me, it's like, somebody from my childhood passed away.
Well, on the bright side, Mufasa is going to be reunited with Sarabi, so that's a win there.
There you go.
So they're going to be watching over Pride Rock safely and soundly.
There we go.
I love that. That's a nice little sentiment right there, Jackson. I like that.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. I mean, just like you, Clip, is just a different movie. So when I was a kid, I used to walk around with the cassette tape of Lion King everywhere I went. I mean, to school, to church, slept with it. So and just like you, I didn't find out till that hype video that he was a Michigan grad.
Yeah,
which is really cool. And so and then fun for me because I'm not much of a Star Wars guy. I'm actually a Lord of the Rings type of person. But
Lord of the Rings is awesome. I'll allow that.
But I mean,
I have to watch a little more of both of them.
You should.
Yeah.
But it was just crazy. I found out today he was the voice of Darth Vader. Found out today at work. So that was really cool.
Really?
Oh wow!
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Wow.
Yeah, him. David Prowse in the original movies. David Prowse was the guy in the suit. David Prowse was a bodybuilder, German bodybuilder. I think he was English. I'm sorry, English bodybuilder.
Yeah,
and then James Earl Jones did the voice. Originally, David Prowse was supposed to be the voice of Darth Vader, but he had this very light Welsh accent, and so he sounded a bit like an uptight Englishman, ordering people around. And I don't know. I don't remember how George Lucas got a hold of James Earl Jones.
Put down that bloody lightsaber.
Yeah, exactly.
You must never go to the elephant graveyard.
Yeah. Shout out to Blue Wolverine again with the super chat. Thank you very much, Blue Wolverine. We appreciate it very much.
Yeah, thanks, Blue Wolverine.
Back to Notre Dame and Purdue. This is the 88th meeting because this is, in fact, an in-state rivalry. Notre Dame leads all-time 59-26-2, so it's a very lopsided rivalry. The last time they played was in 2021, 27-13 Notre Dame at Notre Dame Stadium. In this game, we are resetting some expectations because Notre Dame started at number 7 and is now at number 18 after losing to Northern Illinois. Purdue, okay, actually, this is another question for you guys. If Purdue has an opportunity for a signature win, agree or disagree? And I'll start with Pete.
Sure.
Pete, what do you got?
Man alive. Hudson Card really impressed me last year, to be honest. And I, even in the opener, I know they only played Indiana State and it was one game, but dude was 24 out of 25 for 273 yards and 3 touchdowns. Like, you can't have a much better day than that. I understand Indiana State, known for basketball, not for football, on the FCS team, but my goodness, Hudson Card continues to impress me, and I think he's by far the superior quarterback in this matchup. Riley Leonard, I was actually high in him before the injury he got last year, but boy, he has not produced at all. He has 0 touchdowns through 2 games for the Fighting Irish, and I'm like, what in the world, dude? Marcus Freeman, you got to find your own quarterbacks. I know he just got Chad Carr out of nearby Saline, Michigan, finally recruiting a quarterback a 5-star. He probably should have went to Michigan. I mean, that's Lloyd Carr's grandson, but he wanted to forge his own path. So, I mean, Notre Dame's looking towards next year already. Like, my goodness, when you lose at home to Northern Illinois, goodness gracious, you got some recalibration to do. You know, he's not in the hot seat yet. Freeman's not. He's definitely that seat is warming up. And this one I actually have coming down to the wire. I have it coming pretty close. I give a slight edge to Notre Dame just because of overall roster talent, but the scheming has to improve. The schematics have to get better, both offensively and defensively for the Irish. But I do have Notre Dame coming out on top, 28-25, and it might even be a last-second field goal to win it. Like I've lost a lot of confidence in Marcus Freeman. I mean, my goodness.
Yeah, I think a lot of people did. That's one of those games where I just sort of expected, well, of course Notre Dame's going to win, and then I saw it afterwards, and I'm like, no, somebody didn't update the database. This can't be right.
ESPN's score guy totally fell down on the job.
Yeah, he passed out. I can't do it. All right, coming around the clock, Rob, you're up next. What do you got?
So first off, I kind of don't like Marcus Freeman. He thinks he can do it better than Brian Kelly. He's pretty arrogant. You know, when he joined the Notre Dame staff, became head coach, he trashed the Buckeyes. I have no idea why. But I think he's a fraud. He benefited a little bit from a built up Notre Dame team from Brian Kelly. I mean, people want to say that Brian Kelly is like an okay coach, but the fact that he got Notre Dame as successful at Notre Dame with the recruiting classes he had is an accomplishment within itself. So I think that Purdue beats them 23-20, and Marcus Freeman is really gonna be on the hot seat. I mean, I'm just not seeing it. He's not gonna he's not gonna do better than what Brian Kelly did at Notre Dame. So Purdue takes this one.
I dig it.
Another
I almost
field
went
goal,
there.
yeah.
One ball.
Another game by a field goal. All right, Garrison, let's go to you. You're up.
Everything Rob said, I second. Every word he said. If Purdue is smart, what they'll do is that they will load the box against Notre Dame. Because I mean, Love is a really good running back.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Riley Leonard's the guy. I think Purdue has the better quarterback. I think they have a good running back. They're going to throw the ball, and I guess you're going to play into Notre Dame's strength, which is their secondary. And where's this game at? Is it at Purdue?
At Purdue,
yeah.
Ross State Stadium.
What time?
2:30 p.m. Central Time.
Ooh, if that game was at 7, if that game was at 7, I'm a Buckeye. It's scary going there at night. Yeah, give me 23-20. But if this is if I'm talking about betting, take that plus 10. Just take it.
23-20 Purdue.
Yeah.
All right.
Nice.
Jackson, you're up.
Well, I'm kind of flipping between this game. This kind of a coin toss. So somebody's going to call heads or tails, but I think I'm going to go. Okay. Well, I call it heads, so I have to go Purdue 31-28 over Notre Dame. And I'm going to be honest. You think Notre Dame Nation is mad now? Wait until you see them Sunday at the end of Saturday. And it's going to be disastrous. But I will say, I'm glad to see this rivalry back on the docket. I mean, I know it's not annual like it used to be, but still, though, it's awesome seeing it back on for at least 2025 to 2028. Now we just got. Now I know Notre Dame, Michigan State's gonna be coming back in a few years from now, but I think it's gonna be coming back sooner than we think. And Notre Dame, Michigan's coming back. I mean, Nobody's waiting until 2033. I mean, once CBS sees the ratings become astronomical for Notre Dame Purdue, they're going to be calling the Big Ten. They're going to be talking with NBC and Fox. They're going to be like, hey, let's bring back this Notre Dame Michigan game as soon as possible. I mean, I can guarantee you they're having that conversation in the back room right here and now. They are planning for something like this.
Yeah, I mean, Notre Dame's just one of those classic teams. I mean, it's the historic teams. I mean, you got to watch them. Even if you're not a fan, you got to watch them.
The only thing I'm sad about is Sean McDonough not calling Notre Dame Michigan, but that's pretty much it.
I got to give a shout out to Blue Wolverine again. $49.99.
Oh my goodness.
Thank you very much. Respectful rivals with open discussion equals great show. Yes, that is what we try to do around here.
Wow.
We're just
Thank
having
you
fun
very
talking
much.
football. Yeah, thank you very much, Blue Wolverine. Really appreciate it.
That's awesome.
Mac, you're up.
All right, so obviously I want to pick Purdue. Not because I don't like Notre Dame. I've always kind of had a soft spot in my heart for Notre Dame. I don't get, like, and this is just me speaking as a former youth, but I don't understand the Michigan Notre Dame rivalry as much as some of the older folks might, Dad. And so to me, Notre Dame is just kind of like that redheaded stepchild that no one seems to really like, but I'm over here like, oh, you poor thing. It's okay. It's going to be okay. It's okay, you guys. You belong somewhere. I'm sure somebody loves you somewhere. Maybe, probably not. But I don't know. I mean, because I'm thinking like, okay, Notre Dame goes to Kyle Field and takes out Texas A&M, and Texas A&M has their own problems. But it's not like they're just going to roll over and play dead. And Notre Dame beats them by 10 points, 23-13 on the road. That's a decent win. That's a relatively decent win. I'm going to give it to them. And then they come home and lose to the bottom of the barrel MAC team. I mean, NIU's had some good years, but give me a break. So Marcus Freeman's all over the place. But I'll be honest with you. So is Purdue. I mean, Purdue they're the spoiler makers for a reason. They beat top 5 teams for reasons God only knows, but then lose to freaking Fresno State last year. They lost to Fresno State. They lost to Syracuse prior to Kyle McCord, who I know Ohio State fans would really like to have back right now.
No.
They lost to. I know, I'm joking. You know who would like to? You know who would like to have Kyle McCord? Michigan. Michigan would like Kyle McCord right now. My point is this: I don't know who's going to win this game because I think neither team is really going to win. I think whoever wins this game, it's not because they won, it's because the other team lost. And so Purdue seems to be pretty high right now. Hudson Cards put up a really good numbers against the Sycamores, Indiana State. So yeah, I'll take Purdue. I think Purdue is going to win it, probably somewhere in the neighborhood of 28-24. But man, I mean, one of these teams is going to win, but America loses.
Do you think that Notre Dame Purdue is going to be kind of like Arkansas Oklahoma State, where like nobody's trying to win in the second half?
No, Purdue's going to try to win that game. Purdue's going to try to win this game.
Purdue.
Well, I mean, I know Purdue will, but Notre Dame, it's like they are one of 5 teams in all college football that has not had a passing touchdown. I mean, even Iowa has a passing touchdown. I mean, that is bad.
Hey man, there's only one way to melt gold. Boil her up.
Now,
but it'll be interesting to see whether Ryan Walters can be like Jeff Brom and I forget his name, but he was the coach there from the 90s to 2008. Joe Tiller.
Tiller, yeah.
Almost, it was on the tip of my tongue, but
infamous mustache.
I wonder if he can be like Joe Tiller. That would be cool.
But okay, so now everybody has this game within 3 points. Mac gives it 4 points, but even if it's just to put the nail in the coffin on Notre Dame for their season, would this be a signature win for Purdue?
Absolutely, it would be for Purdue because I mean it's been a long while since they've beaten Notre Dame. They need a win like this. I know Coach Ryan Walters needs it for sure.
Oh, yeah. All right, let's go to game 2. Now that it's 20-9.
Oh crap, that went fast.
Yeah. Okay, we've got Oregon versus Oregon State, their own in-state rivalry. We have both teams are 2-0. Last week, Oregon, as we know, just barely beat Boise State 37-34. Oregon State destroyed San Diego State 21-0. It's 3 scores. I'm going to call that a destruction. This is the 127th meeting by certain certain stats. Some places cut them off at because they really started playing in 1916. But if you go back further to the late 1800s, when Oregon and Oregon State were actually playing in-state football, but not really with anybody else, it's the 127th meeting. Oregon leads all time 68-49. So not too far out of course there. The last time they played was last year. Oregon won 37-7 in Autzen Stadium. This again is a game where we're resetting expectations because Oregon is, well, I'm sorry, they're not number 2 in the Big Ten. Will they be able to maintain their spot in the Big Ten, given that they are dropping in the rankings? Mac, I'm going to go around the other way. I'm going to start with you. What have you got for Oregon versus Oregon State?
I just noticed this. I think this is really funny. So Oregon almost loses to Idaho. Meanwhile, Oregon State opened the season. I think this is Idaho State.
Right.
So like Oregon versus Idaho, Oregon State versus Idaho State. I don't know. I just thought that was kind of funny. But like Oregon State had a better game against Idaho State than Oregon did against Idaho. And then Oregon goes down to the wire against Boise State. Now, hang on a second. I was told by reliable sources that Oregon was going to come into the Big Ten and roll Michigan, roll Ohio State, take over Indianapolis. What's going on here? Now, they actually, before I start saying that they might roll Michigan, the ESPN FPI actually gives Michigan a better chance at beating Oregon than it does Indiana. So whoever came up with that is clearly drunk. But that being said,
Indiana's putting up the numbers, man.
This game is at Oregon State too. So screw it. Top 10 teams are going down all over the place. Wait, no, they're not. Just Notre Dame and Florida State. I'm still calling the Beavers, man. I'm calling the Beavers. I'm taking the Beavers. I'm going to take the Beavers 24-17.
Oh man.
All right. Jackson, you're up next. Go ahead, man.
Mac, I just got to tell you, not so fast, my friend. I'm going to go with Oregon in a 35-27 victory over Oregon State. I mean, Oregon's looked kind of sloppy so far, but I kind of feel like they're saving up their strengths for a game like Ohio State. I think they're still going to look a little bit sloppy against UCLA, Michigan State, but we'll definitely wait and see what happens. But I got to say, Ashton Genty looked fantastic against that Oregon defense. Like, for a moment, I thought Boise State was going to upset Oregon. And if they did, I wonder if we were going to see Mr. Genty be a Heisman candidate. I mean, I know it's way too early to be talking about Heisman candidates, but still, it doesn't hurt to really think about Ashton Genty not just being a candidate for the Heisman, but also a top-notch draft pick in the NFL draft. I mean, I know the Chiefs have to be watching him.
I still think he should be, though. I mean, 3 touchdowns, 200 yards. That's a good game.
If I'm not mistaken, he's leading the nation in rushing right now. So
he is.
That would make sense, yeah.
Yep.
Jackson, did you have a pick for the game?
I did. I had Oregon winning. I have Oregon winning 35-27 against Oregon State. This game's going to be closer than the experts have it, really.
Yeah. Oh, what? Garrison, go ahead. There was something I had to say, but I forgot what it was.
Oh, brain fart.
Yep.
No, so we all agree, and there's proof that the biggest jump is from week 1 to week 2. Well, I think in week 3, some teams come back down to earth. Oregon in the first game, their defense played really good. Second game, their offense played really good. Defense was god awful, but I think they're going to pound on Oregon State. I think sometimes you need to go against a team to work some demons out on. I think there's a chance there's another team that should do that this week. But I think Oregon does it. I think they win around 35 to 16.
35-16 Oregon.
Mm-hmm. And I think it's the score is not going to be indicative of what the game really looks like. I think they're going to put some things together. Dan Lanning is too good of a coach for his team to look like that, and they have too much talent to look like that.
Gotcha. I remember what I was going to say. Everybody in the chat, if you want to throw in your picks for the games, I will pop them up here. If you agree, disagree with the picks our panel has, throw that in the chat, and I will pop that up here too. Meantime, Rob, you're up.
So I think Oregon is just way too talented of a team this season to drop a game against Oregon State. I know that they've struggled the last couple games, but at the end of the day, the more talented team comes back, or the more talented team ends up prevailing. That's what Oregon did. I don't think Dan Lanning is truly opening up the playbook. I think talent alone is getting him these wins. I know it hasn't been the best, but it's still a win. I think he's waiting to really open up the playbook against Ohio State. I mean, you don't want to show possibly your toughest competition your cards right away. So I have Oregon winning 32-21.
32-21. All right. Keegan says he likes Garrett's take. I'm pretty sure he means Garrison.
Now, you'd be surprised how many times I've been called Garrett in my life. That's pretty normal.
Yep. Pete, what do you got?
Respect for these two programs keeping this rivalry alive. Oklahoma and Oklahoma State, we can't say the same things about them. They're letting that rivalry go to the wayside, at least for the time being, and that's super disappointing. But respect to these programs. Oregon, man, they got outrushed 221 yards to 110 in the game versus Boise State. As we all talked about, John T., he had a field day for the second game in a row, and the Ducks got some things to figure out defensively. Mateo Uyunglele, the less famous younger brother, is performing well, but he's about the only one performing well for that Duck defense right now. And I don't know. I mean, I don't see Oregon State being too competitive either. I agree with Garrison on this one. I think Oregon does kind of wake up a little bit. I don't have any reasoning or logic behind that. Just the fact that I think they're starting to maybe get pretty ticked off at themselves, and their coaches, I'm sure, are giving it to them in practices. And so I think Oregon does wake up a little bit, and they take care of business 31-17 in this game out in Corvallis.
31-17. All right, so we've got 1 and 2 score spreads here for most of those picks. Which, I mean, it should be a good game. You would normally expect, I would think Oregon State, well, like the last time they met was 37-7, so a 30-point spread. Game's getting tighter.
They're really hard to figure out, like the Ducks. I mean, they're getting plenty of yardage, but they're not finishing drives. And I think it's because they're not rushing the football well. Gabriel's stats are phenomenal through 2 games. He just doesn't have many touchdowns. And neither do the Ducks themselves. And so they're really hard to figure out a little bit, why they aren't finishing drives well.
Right.
I think that they're as the field shrinks, so does their offense. They're not really good in the red zone.
I think
that's a good point.
I think Oregon got a little too far into the arrogance game when they picked their own nickname, the team out west. Mac and I picked up on that when that was first announced, and I changed their name to the Quackers out west, and I think that should stick.
Yeah, let's be honest. All right, there's only one true team out west. All right.
Wow,
just one.
Yeah, and they held OSU to 52 points. That was great.
56. But yeah, we did, didn't we?
Our next
game. Real quick, score update. Jets are beating 49ers 7-3. Start of the second quarter.
That's what Aaron Rodgers' teams will do to you. But let's see how they do against the Niners in the playoffs. Oh, wait. they don't have to deal with the
Dude.
49ers in the AFC.
I wonder what Aaron Rodgers took before the game.
I don't know. But maybe he'll announce it on the Pat McAfee show tomorrow.
So I remember after it was when he was with the Packers. It was after I think it was the Bears game, and he I think he played through like a sprained ankle, and you could just tell that they gave him some heavy duty painkillers. It was actually pretty funny to see.
That's awesome. I like it.
Oof. All right, we're going over to Alabama, and the reason we've got the Alabama-Wisconsin game is because Alabama is currently ranked number 4 in the AP. Alabama is 2-0. Wisconsin is 2-0. Last week, Alabama killed South Florida 42-16. Wisconsin got South Dakota 27-13. This is only the third time that these teams have met, and they are tied 1-1. Last meeting was in 2015, 35-17 Alabama, and that was at Camp Randall. The big question now is with the new coach at Wisconsin. Obviously, it's Luke Fickell's second year. Is Wisconsin ready for Alabama? Where did I go, Pete? We're going to start with you, Pete.
And we Buckeye fans love us some Luke Fickell, man. He created some great defenses for us. He was a superstar defensive tackle for us in the 90s. And we got some mad love from him, but my goodness, did he take over a horrific roster. I mean, they were recruiting between like 50th and 70th in the nation in the previous regime. And he's working with a massive talent deficiency. And he just lost Jim Leonard, the defensive coordinator. That's a big loss for them, too. I want Luke Fickell to do well in Wisconsin, but he much like Marcus Freeman, until he finds a recruit to play quarterback out of high school for him that's elite, he's going to struggle. They just are really, really struggling to move the football well and effectively. They're kind of changing things up, the scheme, going to more, heavy pass offense like they had in Cincinnati, and the transition has not been smooth. I think Alabama and Jalen Milroe, they're going to come into Madtown and they're going to be jumping around like they will be. I don't think there'll be much students left in the student section for that third quarter jump around tradition. Milroe, honestly, I don't think he's taking the next step as a quarterback. To me personally, he looks exactly the same as he did last year, but I don't think it matters in this game. Alabama's going to just give him the business. And I think it could be, I'm guessing 45-17 Bama.
45-17.
Yeah, I don't think it'd be even close.
All right, Rob, let's go over to you. What do you got?
All right, so normally Luke Fickell teams come to year 3 or pretty much what we see in year 3. But I'm with Peter. Like, their roster is really depleted. They don't have much talent. There's a giant talent gap, obviously, with Alabama and Wisconsin. Wisconsin has a really big quarterback problem. I mean, they struggled against South Dakota and Western Michigan. But I have Alabama winning 52-7. I mean, Jalen Milroe is looking really good. Freshman wide receiver Ryan Williams looks like he's going to be the real deal. He's been phenomenal games. I expect him to just slice and dice through Wisconsin's defense and get over 100 receiving yards and 2 touchdowns. Garrison and Peter may laugh at me about this, but he may give JJ Smith competition for, best freshman. So, yeah.
Oh, no, you definitely will.
Yeah.
Now, okay, so Luke Fickell was the one, he took Cincinnati from almost ground level and then got them into the playoffs, right?
Yeah.
They were number 4 just a couple years ago. 5 years ago.
21, wasn't it?
Was it 21?
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
All right. So where did he have the more recruiting power and financial backing? Would that have been at Cincinnati or is that at Wisconsin? Which school has
Wisconsin.
bigger draw?
Wisconsin.
Yeah.
So he's got the pieces there. He's moved up. Cincinnati to Wisconsin is an upward move. He should be able to build that program. That makes sense, right?
How many kids want to live in Wisconsin?
I mean, that.
I guess that's fair.
You're talking about a completely different philosophy of football. I mean, Wisconsin is built from, built on the foundation of Barry Alvarez. I mean, that's smash mouth football, just like Michigan. That's just going to be, Wisconsin's Rich Rod moment. I mean, there's the potential that it's Wisconsin's Rich Rod moment, but Luke Fickell's a really good coach. So who knows?
Yep.
Well, the thing is, Wisconsin's not a talent-rich state, and he coached in Ohio his entire coaching career. So all of his connections and the majority of people he recruited and the high school coaches he has connections with are in Ohio, and he's not going to be pulling guys to Wisconsin away from Ohio State. Michigan has started to get in on some guys. Obviously, we know about Kentucky pulling from the state of Ohio as well, and so his recruiting base, he can't pull from that well anymore, and I think that's been a big detriment to him. And I don't want to say this yet. I think it's slightly premature to say this, but maybe he's like a Brady Hoke type cap where he excels at the schools like San Diego State and Ball State, Cincinnati for him, but he's not quite that elite level to compete in the Power Four conferences. Maybe that's the case. I don't know if that's true. I'm just putting that out there.
I think the difference is that Luke Fickell is, and not to bash Brady Hoke, but Luke Fickell is an extremely smart football mind and a fairly well-rounded one at that. Brady Hoke's issue was that he was all defense and nothing else. And then he also had a spread option quarterback that he tried to force into a pro style smash mouth offense.
Yeah,
Luke
that bit him in the rear.
Yeah, it did. So my thing, I feel like if anyone were to have more success doing the Brady Hoke type of thing, then it would be Luke Fickell. My thing is if you're a recruit, I mean, you live anywhere other than Wisconsin, do you really want to go somewhere where it's, freezing? I mean, it's like Michigan, only a little bit worse even because it can get even colder there. Like, do you really want to go there? Like all of these talent-rich states, like your Florida, your New Jerseys even, your Ohio's, California's, are you really going to move to Wisconsin? I mean, the cheese is good. The beer's all right. Ours is better. But
say that again.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Michigan beer is better.
And vodka. And for that, we'll turn to Garrison. Garrison, go ahead. What's your call?
It is.
Man,
Garrison has a vodka sponsor. That's why I said that.
Oh, yeah, stock the bar, everybody. You can buy your local Meyer and Family Fare. I want to find a reason to give Wisconsin a chance in this game, but there's just no way I can do that. They're gonna get beat bad. I'm looking at the line right now. It's Alabama -16. Hammer that. That's crazy. -16. They're gonna cover that, and they're gonna cover that by a lot. They're gonna double that. I think they're gonna win probably. Rob, what did you say?
I said 52-7.
Pete?
God, I hope it's not that bad. 45-17.
I'll go 47-10. 47-10. They get 10 points for being at Camp Randall. I wish this game was in November. I wish it was in November.
Real talk.
Oh yeah. Jackson, you are our Alabama expert. Is Wisconsin ready for Alabama?
Oh, everybody's going to be ready for Bama. That's the thing, though. Everybody's going to bring their A game against the Blue Bloods, especially teams like Alabama, Ohio State, Michigan. Everybody in all college football is going to bring their A game against Blue Bloods. I kind of feel like Wisconsin's saving their best for Alabama. I don't know why, but I just do. But I'll give a little series history fact. Wisconsin shut out Alabama 15-0 on November 15th, 1928, when it was the downturn of the Wallace Wade era from 1927 to 1929. You know, for a lot of the Bama fans, that was like a Great Depression for a little bit, because back then we were spoiled with Rose Bowls from 1925 and 26. So it was interesting to see what happens there. And of course,
Starting to sound like a Michigan fan, Jackson. We always talk about the Rose Bowls of the past.
Dad, stop. You can't give them.
Well, not
you can't give them that
there.
much fodder. Come on, man.
Bo wasn't winning Rose Bowls.
Of course, we
That's
went
true,
up against Wisconsin, smacked them in 2015. But it's awesome that we're having a home and home with Wisconsin. I'm glad we're playing them in Camp Randall. I'm glad they're going to be coming to Tuscaloosa for the first time ever in school history next year. I just hope our commissioner doesn't do the mess around with that game like he did with Georgia, Oklahoma 2023.
Can you give us a score for the game?
Yes, I've got Alabama winning 28-20 in this.
You are so kind. You are so kind.
Wow.
I think it's going to be closer than the experts have it. I really do. I mean, it'll be interesting to see what happens. I think Luke Fickell can really get the job done in Madison.
All right.
I have a hot take about Luke Fickell.
Yeah.
I do want to say this about him. He did have success at Cincinnati. But what I've always been skeptical about him at bigger programs is that, and people will always say, Garrison, we had suspensions and all that. I don't care about that. 2011, Ohio State had the most talented roster in the Big Ten. He went 6-7 with it. So,
yeah, but that was the interim year. So
I'm telling you, I don't care. I don't like. Our Ohio State has the best talent in the Big Ten for the last 20, 30 years. There's no reason he should have gone 6-7 with that roster. I don't care that Braxton Miller was a freshman. So that's why I've always been skeptical about him.
I think, honestly, 2011, the Buckeyes should have given themselves the bowl ban. This way, for 2012, they'd be playing for a natty.
Yeah, we would have beat you, too.
Played Notre Dame.
Yeah, I mean, I think it could have happened. Like, Ohio State could have been a natty champ. Like, you know, it would have been like Alabama or Ohio State, you know. But we know either way, both of them would have smacked. We saw what Bama did to Notre Dame. Yeah. I think same thing would have happened with Ohio State.
Did you just call Notre Dame Ohio State?
I was saying that Ohio State would have smacked Notre Dame.
Okay.
Wow, don't insult him, Jackson. Jeez.
Oh,
I'm not insulting them. I'm saying that they just smacked. Like Manti Te'o, like, oh man, he got tripped that year. But
yeah, I wonder
that's another story for another day.
His girlfriend. Woo.
Did you know he hasn't Googled his name since 2013?
Oh wow, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't either if I was getting. I wouldn't either.
Wow.
Still a fun story.
That is a great story.
Yeah.
Have you guys seen the Untold version on that Netflix?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Poor guy.
Oh, no, I haven't.
Poor
I'll have
guy.
to watch that one.
Hey, one second, guys.
This is why, like,
Brian, he had more talent than everyone else in that conference. That's as simple as I can make it.
Fight.
The only win that salvaged that 2011 season was the last. It was Braxton Miller's.
Beat Russell Wilson
touchdown.
Oh yeah, Brad Nessler got excited when he saw Braxton Miller throwing that amazing game-winning touchdown.
Was it to Devin? Was it to Devin Smith or DeVere Posey?
Devin Smith.
Yeah,
that was
I remember it was on ESPN. That was pretty fun watching it, and it was the week after Michigan State's Hail Mary pass against Wisconsin.
Oh my gosh!
2 weeks.
You know what? And then we saw Braxton Miller miss 3 touchdown passes against Michigan, lose that game. That's what we saw after that.
Yeah, because he was overthrowing everybody all the other times.
Yeah.
And I say that as someone who has the utmost respect for Braxton Miller. I thought he was a pretty good quarterback, towards the later bit of his career. But that freshman year, I mean, he was overthrowing everybody.
I remember that spin move against Virginia Tech. That was disgusting.
My gosh. The spin move heard round the world. That man pressed B. That's all I'm saying.
All right, Mac, what do you got for Alabama, Wisconsin?
Oh, I haven't given my prediction yet.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Here's the thing. So I'm hearing what you guys are all saying, and I don't know. Jackson's got me all up in a tizzy now because I'm thinking Alabama's going to walk into Camp Randall and totally smack Wisconsin. I mean, Wisconsin only beat the powerhouse that is Western Michigan by 2 scores, and it took them a while to get there. So, yeah, obviously Alabama's going to come in here and smack the Badgers. I don't know. If Wisconsin were saving anything for a game, it would be this one, because at this point everybody's looking at Tyler Van Dyke and saying Tyler Van Dyke's not the guy.
Goodness.
And 9 times out of 10, you'd probably be right about that. I don't know how sustainable it is for Wisconsin to have an offense that's based entirely on Chez Mellusi. Also, shout out to him. Apparently his father passed away this past Friday. So that's a massive bummer, and prayers to him and his family. But he's a phenomenal running back. I just don't know how sustainable it is for Wisconsin to count on him for, several touchdowns every single game. That being said, Alabama's got a pretty significant game coming up next week. Can anybody tell me who that's against?
Oh, it's those Bulldogs. We're going to be going against them in week 5. And I'll be honest, I wonder how it's going to be like for next. Like, Garrison, I got to ask you, Urban Meyer's first year not coaching, how did he feel when having to talk about or see the Ohio State football program in 2019? What was it kind of like? Did it feel awkward seeing an ex-girlfriend at a pool party? Because it's
pool party.
Honestly, it's the same thing for Alabama. Yeah, because I'll be honest. I remember I was at a pool party a few years back. Saw Nets there. I was like, damn it. I didn't know it was going to be there. Damn, this is awkward. So awkward. No, at least it's not like Mordecai on regular show. That dude sucked.
No, I had an Urban Meyer pool party joke somewhere in there, but I'll leave that be. But I don't know. I feel like that year, I guess it was kind of awkward, but 2019, man. We were taking names and kicking ass. He looked pretty happy watching us drop 56 on Michigan. So,
yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
More than what we scored on Western.
Yeah.
Mac, did you give your pick? Were you done?
Oh no, I didn't. So my pick is actually it's going to be 31-24 Alabama.
You say 31?
Yeah, 31-24 Alabama. I think Chez Mellusi is going to go off. I know that he's probably hurting right now, but I think that this is going to be a refocusing game. I think they're all going to rally behind him, and they're going to have a really good 3.5 quarters. And then Alabama's going to get a score late in the 4th, and that's going to probably do it.
So we've got some fairly broad scoring here. So, Mac, you said 31-24. Peter said 45-17. Rob had 52-7. Garrison 47-10, and then Jackson 28-20. We all have to watch that game. Go ahead, Rob.
Can I address Brian Meyer's comment real quick? He said, pull the top one, pull it up real quick.
Oh,
he said 2019 Ohio State beats 2019 LSU. There's no, I'm sorry. The 2019 team was phenomenal for Ohio State, but 2019 LSU, that team will go down as possibly one of the greatest. They had let's see, Joe Burrow, Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and on the defense side of the ball, they had who was it? Derek Stingley, Patrick Queen.
Their defense wasn't good that year. That's the only argument I could give Ohio State, but I wouldn't pick us.
No, that offense was way too phenomenal. So yeah, I'm gonna have to give some push. Even as an Ohio State fan, I'm gonna have to give some pushback on that.
Has Patrick
you got some
Queen been
agreement there.
able? Has Patrick Queen been able to break free in the NFL yet, or no?
I don't.
I guess he's still. I take that as he's still waiting for that Bohemian Rhapsody to kick in. Still.
Oh.
Is this a real life? Is this the entity?
There we go. Our super spy did 7 simulations of 2019 LSU versus Ohio State. LSU won 6 of the 7. So there you go. That's definitive as you can get. Also,
Quick score
he has
update.
Alabama 34-20.
Quick score update. 49ers lead 13-7 now.
Ooh.
Oh, Debo. Who? Debo.
Debo.
What was? Oh, okay. So our next game is Northern Iowa at Nebraska. This game becomes more interesting now with Nebraska with what they're doing over there. They're both 2-0. Northern Iowa beat St. Thomas, which I assume is a private school, 17-10. Nebraska beat Colorado 28-10.
Yeah.
This is the first meeting between Northern Iowa and Nebraska. And you guys heard, I'm sure, at the beginning there that the great thing about this is that Nebraska now being ranked 23. The last time they were ranked was when they lost to Colorado back in September of 2019. So a pretty phenomenal moment for them. This is why I was hoping to have Justin on too, because I wanted him to be able to talk about this. But at any rate, this game, actually, I won't say anything. Let's go. Mac, you want to go first on this one?
Yeah, I mean, Nebraska's going to win. They're going to win pretty handedly, too. I think it's going to be somewhere in their neighborhood of like a 52-10 sort of situation. I think it's going to be nasty. Man, that Dylan Raiola, though, true freshman, and the guy's putting up just insane numbers, 42 of 57, 423 yards, and 3 touchdowns on the year. I mean, that Colorado game honestly should have gotten a lot more out of hand. But Colorado's defense kind of stepped up a little bit in the second half. But whatever.
Colorado's defense?
Well, yeah, apparently. But Nebraska's defense was doing great the entire game. I'm so excited that they beat them. I don't know. I posted on Twitter that people were giving Shedeur Sanders crap, and they probably shouldn't. I mean, I don't like him. I don't like his attitude. I don't like Coach Prime's attitude. I don't like that there is this rumor going around now that Coach Prime is telling the band to play Shedeur Sanders' rap song after he scores touchdowns rather than the school's fight song.
I heard about that, yeah.
Prime is saying that's not true.
They're saying it's not true. What's his name?
Okay.
From FS1. Calls Big Doom Games. What the heck?
Gus Johnson, Joel Klatt.
Joel Klatt. Yeah, Joel Klatt. He says it's absolutely not true.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, good. That makes me feel a little bit better. But I mean, dude, that entire culture is just based on vibes, man.
I thought having 1 million followers on Instagram was going to help them contend for a national title. I mean,
they are rooted in substance.
You'd think, yeah. I don't know that there's anything more substantive in this world than the number of followers that you have on Instagram.
Oh man, I just love making fun of them every chance I get. Like, I mean, like I'm just gonna be like South Park. I'm just making fun of everybody in college football.
Yes.
Nobody is safe from criticism.
Nobody. Mac, what was your pick? Did you get
52-10? Yeah, 52-10 Nebraska.
All right. Jackson, let's head over to you next. What do you got?
48-3 Nebraska.
Ooh. A little bit more.
Dylan Raiola is
that all you want to say?
Dylan Raiola is going to make life pitiful for Northern Illinois.
Yes, actually, I had another question I wanted to throw in with this one. Is Nebraska's turnaround on track or ahead of schedule?
Well, I've got 3 words. Yes, definitely, absolutely.
All right.
So it's ahead of schedule then.
Mm-hmm. Correctamundo, good sir.
All right.
All right.
Garrison?
I got Nebraska 45-7. Let's go 6. Let's go 6. I'm starting the train now. Dylan Raiola might be the best quarterback in the Big Ten. I've been high on this kid since he came out of high school. I think he has an NFL body. I think he has an NFL arm. No one else in the conference, barely anyone in the nation, throws like him at the angles he throws at. Like, sometimes you can just watch somebody and you know what you're watching, and you know what you're seeing. Yeah, and they're ahead of schedule, because they have Dylan Raiola.
And your pick was 45-6?
Mm-hmm.
Garrison, you're nicer than I am. I didn't even let him have more than one field goal.
Rob, you're up next. What do you got?
Even though I am a big Dylan Raiola hater, I don't like what he did to Ohio State. He spurned them, and then he spurned Georgia. He's been here and there, transferred to 4 high schools. Just think, he's a big, but I would be a complete idiot to say that he's not extremely talented. And as a freshman, playing the Big Ten, he is making Patrick Mahomes type throws. It's really impressive to watch. I mean, I agree with Garrison. They're ahead of schedule due to Dylan Raiola. So I have them winning 50-3.
50-3. Huh?
All of that makes me like Dylan Raiola a lot more.
All right.
I'm just saying. That's all I'm saying.
Fair enough.
Shoot, I messed this up. Mac, you said 52-10, right?
Yeah.
Jackson, you said 48-3?
Yes, sir.
I put him in the wrong spot. Hey, Garrison, you said 45-6.
Yeah, I'm the nice guy on the show.
You're the nice guy. Rob, what was that again?
50-3.
50-3. All right. Now we're back on track. Pete, what do you got?
Man, Northern Iowa. We need Bryce back on the show to tell us where Northern Iowa is located. What town are they in?
Oh, yeah.
He would know.
Iowa? he might know. Yeah. Northern Iowa is going to get shellacked in this one. My goodness. Dylan Raiola, what more needs to be said? I mean, the dude has come on the stage and announced himself. He is here. I don't know if I could call him the best quarterback in Big Ten, but he certainly has an argument for it. There's no question about that through 2 games. I would definitely put him in the top 3 for sure. And Nebraska just steamrolls this one. 47-10. I have the Cornhuskers continuing to dominate, and more than likely, looking ahead now, Rutgers might give them a challenge, but they'll probably be 7-0 when they roll into Columbus. Now, will they be paper tigers like in years past, and Ohio State just absolutely obliterates them again? That's a very real possibility, but their defense is flying around now, and they are certainly improved on both sides of the football, and I am impressed. Color me impressed for sure.
Yeah.
Hey, Borge Warner. I'm sorry. Hey, Borge Warner. They are even much more better than anyone on that Michigan roster.
Dude, Borge Warner's a big Ohio State hater. I don't know what to say.
Oh, we got people of all stripes in the chat here tonight.
Yeah. But I think Raiola will be in the transfer portal after the Ohio State game. So
really?
No.
Yeah, no.
He continues his
No.
I'm just knocking him because he went to 4 high schools in 4 years.
Yeah.
So and then he decommitted twice before he finally committed to Nebraska. So
Well, okay. So what class would he have been in? Because it was Ohio State brought in Julian Sayin. They had Aaron Nolan. I mean, was there room for Dylan Raiola? I mean, Dylan Raiola could have gone to Georgia and he'd be on the bench right now, or he could go to Nebraska where Matt Rule and his uncle are, and he's starting and putting up hella numbers right now.
I don't think they go after Aaron Nolan and Julian Sayin if Raiola would have stuck with his commitment.
I don't know.
Maybe not Aaron Nolan, but they definitely don't go after Julian.
I'm kind of shocked that they went after Julian Sayin anyway with Aaron Nolan coming in. And then they brought in Will Howard too.
And I have no problem with that.
All right. Yeah, whatever.
If you have a lot of quarterbacks, like I am of the belief that you should get you should get a high level quarterback in every single class. If you can get multiple, even better. I mean, next year, I've said I don't know if Julian Sayin is going to start next year. I mean, we bring in another very highly touted quarterback in St. Clair. Who knows what he looks like getting on campus if he gets there early. I mean, hey, it's a battle, man. That's how it is every other position.
But I mean, like, if I'm Dylan Raiola, though, I'm looking at the situation. I'm saying, like, I could go ride the bench at OSU or Georgia, or I could go start at Nebraska. And I mean, Matt Rule is already, even last year, like, it's not like Nebraska. It felt like Nebraska was already different last year. And now this year he's got better players and a better culture. It really feels like Dad and Jackson, you guys said they were ahead of schedule. Yeah, it really feels like they're ahead of schedule. So Dylan Raiola can look at that and be like, all right, maybe we can even go to like, I don't know, another level that we weren't even expecting this year if I can go start there.
Quick question for Pete and Rob. If Dylan Raiola stays with his commitment with Ohio State, does Ohio State go after Will Howard?
Man, that's a tough one.
That's a no.
I would say probably not.
Yeah. Because like the way I see Ryan Day is he has trouble, making the hard decisions. And are you gonna put the game in a freshman's hands? So that's just what I seen from Ryan Day. So yeah,
Okay, I see that. All right, that's enough Buckeye talk.
Well, with regard to Nebraska, I'm actually kind of excited to see what Matt Rule does there and I don't know if I'm sort of insulated with Big Ten football that I did not realize that prior to Nebraska joining the Big Ten, they were this massive powerhouse of this, the Plain States there, just destroying everybody. They have like a 30-year span that was better than Penn State, better than who was the coach just at Penn State for 40 years?
Joe Paterno was there for 45 years. Then it was Bill O'Brien, and now it's James Franklin.
So in Nebraska for about 30 years, they had a better record than Paterno, a better record than Schembechler, a better record than Ohio State. They were just massive, and it's just kind of wild that was happening, and I knew nothing about it because I'm just looking at the Big Ten. Mm-hmm. So and now Nebraska has gone through this Pete Frost era where they've just been devastated. Yeah. So it'll be cool to see them actually, rise again. I'm actually looking forward to it.
And Rip Engel was the head coach from 1950 to 65 at Penn State.
Okay.
And by the way, my dad's watching. He still owes me like $20 because when I was in high school and they got rid of when Bo Pelini, I said they will never get average 9 wins this season again after firing Bo Pelini. So Dad, you owe me that money.
That's true. He does.
My dad paid him.
So when did you make this bet?
This would have been the year they fired Bo Pelini.
Yeah, 2014. What was it? The day he got fired? Y'all made this bet?
Oh, probably like a week after, and we were having conversation, and I told him they won't see success like that again. And then they got Matt Rule, so I'm switching now.
Oh, okay. So like the only 9-win season that I can think of was 2016, Mike Riley's second year. They lost to Ohio State. They're always losing to Wisconsin, and they lost to Iowa, and then they lost to Tennessee in the Music City Bowl. So, like, other than that, they haven't had like a winning record other than 2016. But this year it'll change.
Yeah.
Okay, so I had to look it up because I wanted to know this. Do you know how badly they lost to Iowa that year?
Don't remember.
Really bad.
40-10.
Yep.
40-10. Wow. And that was with CJ Beathard as Iowa's quarterback. He put up 150 yards and 3 touchdowns.
That's a name right there.
Oh my gosh. I'm going back in time here, like 2016. Where was I? I was a sophomore at Western Michigan, and that was so Western Michigan was undefeated at that point too, and Michigan was had lost to Iowa or something like that. And yeah, CJ Beathard was at Iowa and put up 40 points against Nebraska. That's wild to me.
Yep.
What a thing.
Anyone remember the 2012 Big Ten title game? I actually do. I agree with this LOL here because I remember watching that thinking, okay, this is supposed to be the two best teams in the Big Ten, and Wisconsin just absolutely embarrassed Nebraska. They're just running circles around them.
Only because Ohio State didn't get to play in that game.
Yeah, Ohio State, Penn State were both banned from postseason that year, so it's like that was a god awful year for the Big Ten.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. That was the championship game was an embarrassment. That was just awful.
Oh yeah.
The first ever too.
Yep.
Yeah.
70 to 33, Wisconsin.
Had to get out of that leaders and legends era. That was horrible.
That was a god awful era. Like Ohio, like really.
Whose idea was that?
Well, I will say that the teams, like the way they split the teams, was way better than we have it now. We had the last few years, but those names are just so corny.
The names were so stupid.
Yeah, I don't like how they separated Wisconsin from Iowa and Minnesota. Like, that was so horrible. No, Russell Wilson did not play in the 2012 Big Ten title game. He was already a rookie at the Seattle Seahawks and a draft steal already.
I don't want to talk about Russell Wilson in Wisconsin.
He was in the 2011 game, I believe.
Yep. But he did also do pretty awesome at North Carolina State, although they did come up short of going to the ACC title game when they lost to Maryland on rivalry week.
He was a great baseball player there too.
Yep, he almost did. He almost went to go play baseball instead of football, but then I guess he changed his mind.
All right, our last game for the evening turns out to be, I'm going to call it a much bigger deal, at least to us Michigan fans, than we expected it to be. Arkansas State is coming into number 17 Michigan, now ranked number 17 after a massive beatdown by Texas. And as I was saying before, this is one of those resetting our expectations. Arkansas State, I heard somebody say this today, that Arkansas State has to be seeing blood in the water. They probably at the beginning of the season thought this was just going to be a beatdown for them, but now they have an opportunity. Michigan is hurt. Michigan is beat up. They have an opportunity to knock Michigan completely out of the rankings.
No, stop.
No,
Stop.
Hold on.
Just stop. Stop. Okay, stop for two reasons. One, what you're saying is wildly stupid. And two, we've got 3 Buckeyes on with us right now, and they are foaming at the mouth over what you're saying right now.
Well, there's one other reason why Arkansas State's not going to have any magic. There's one other reason why Arkansas State won't have any magic against Michigan. Their head coach is Butch Jones.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, whatever. Well, with the resetting expectations, so I admit I was one of those Michigan fans that was thinking, I was very optimistic. I thought coming off of the national championship, the coaches that they were bringing up were actually assistant coaches last year. So I thought, okay, there's some continuity. The second tier players that were moving up to starters were being coached up. That apparently is not the case. My expectations have been reset. However, Lindy's, Athlon, and Phil Steele, all 3 of those magazines had Michigan missing the Big Ten championship game, but still getting a playoff bid, but losing in the first round. So I am resetting my expectations to that. But my opinion doesn't matter. Your guys' opinion matters. What do you guys think about this game?
Matter.
Yeah, that's enough out of you. You don't get to talk anymore.
Muted.
Go ahead.
Grounded.
Mute me. Dad, you can't ground me. I'm not 25 anymore.
Let's go with Pete. Pete, what's your thoughts on this game?
Yeah, Arkansas State is going to be on the end of a beatdown. I think the Wolverines are going to come out pissed off and ticked off. And, the Red Wolves are not going to have an answer. I mean, you stole their kicker in the portal this year. I really wanted him, or the kicker from Miami, Ohio. He's clearly your best offensive weapon outside of Colson Loveland. And But that won't matter at all in this game because they're going to dominate. I mean, the Red Wolves defense is giving up 27 points per game, and they played nobody so far. It's, even though Michigan's offensive talent is quite subpar, compared to what they're used to in the big house, this is going to be bad. I think 35-6 probably. Arkansas State doesn't put up much of a fight against Michigan. But then USC comes to town.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about that right now.
No, we're not talking USC. We're just talking this
We're going
week.
to pretend that's not happening.
Also, unrelated, we're not having a show next week. That's a joke. We are, maybe, for now.
Maybe, yeah. Rob, you're up. What do you got?
Man, I forgot Butch Jones was the head coach of Arkansas State. The last relevant thing he did was when Josh Dobbs bailed him out against Georgia. Then he got in one knee, and thank God for the last second win. But that's about it. And he's not going to do, and his team's not against Michigan. I think after that beatdown that Michigan took Saturday. Honestly, like I was surprised, but hats off to Sarkisian for a brilliant game plan. Not using the speed to get to the outside, not trying to get between the tackles when you have to deal with Mason Graham, Kenneth Grant. But I think Michigan bounces back against a far inferior opponent. I have them winning 35-7.
All right. Right there with Pete. All right, Garrison. What do you got?
Well, as you know, I've been taking
I know you
a
got
lot
that party light back there, so.
Yeah.
Oh,
Do we have
yeah.
to let him go?
Yeah, listen. Well, as you guys know, I've been taking a lot of victory laps over the past few days.
Amen.
Over comments I have been over comments over
About to
comments
have an
that I've
altar
been
call on the
saying.
show.
I've been saying comments for about 4 months about your team that have all come true. Some that I've said on this show. But yeah, funny. So I had a conversation with my best friend Lawson. And we were talking about just the rest of your guys' schedule. He's a Michigan fan. And he said Arkansas State has a feel as though if they can get to 20 points, they know they're in the game. Now, do I think they're going to get to 20 points? No. Do I think your guys' offense is going to wave your magic wand? No. I think I've got you guys winning, let's call it 30-10. I think as of right now, based off these last two games, everyone should feel as though they can pass on the Michigan State. I'm sorry, on the Michigan secondary. Everyone should feel that way. Fresno did it. Texas called off the dogs after they could have dropped 50 on you. So we'll see. You'll win. By how much, I don't know, but you'll win.
All right. I'm hearing crickets. Mac, is your window
open? That has to be Mac.
Is that me?
Yeah.
I'm not hearing crickets.
It was appropriate, I think, with the crickets.
It was.
It worked. Whatever.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I heard it that time.
Garrison, I unfortunately don't disagree. So, Jackson,
I do, but we'll get there.
Yeah, we'll get there. Jackson, what do you got?
I'm going to say Michigan 34-7 against Arkansas State.
That's respectable. I can deal with that.
Yeah. Are you resetting expectations on Michigan, or did you see Michigan doing not as well this year?
Honestly, I had Michigan coming up short of the playoffs this season. I'm sorry to say, gents, but it's just I had this feeling they were going to be coming up short of going back to the playoffs, but I think they'll be fine in the long run. I don't think I'd panic. But if Michigan is not doing so high against Arkansas State like Bama wasn't doing so high against South Florida last year, then it's time to worry.
Yeah. I actually was talking to my buddy at church Sunday, and asking him how he felt about the Texas game, and he said for him it wasn't all that big of a deal. He actually, and he's a huge Michigan fan, season tickets. He even goes to the games he doesn't have tickets, or if he gives the tickets away, he still goes to the game because he'll tailgate. He's one of those kind of guys. He's always there. He said he thought Michigan was going to go 6-6 this year, so he wasn't really worried about the Texas loss. We're not friends anymore, but
moved him from Facebook.
No, I'm kidding. No, he's a great guy. He's actually really smart. I wish he would do YouTube. I would get him on the show because he's a really smart guy. But it's going to be a rough season. All right, Mac, lay it on us.
I don't even really know if I want to be your son anymore. Holy crap. I can't even with you people. Yeah, I mean, obviously Michigan's going to win this game. But Davis Warren said, and we talked about this for the...
Yeah,
I haven't even said anything.
Garrison just laughs at the name of mention of Davis Warren. Wow.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Mac.
No, you're not. Anyway, we talked about this for the video we did for Voice of College Football, which will be live tomorrow morning, 9:00. Subscribe to them. Davis Warren said during his press conference that Michigan has the talent to beat a team like Texas. And I don't think he's right, but I don't think he's as wrong as Garrison thinks he is. I think that I can't finish a freaking thought.
Did you guys let them win or not?
No, we didn't let them win. They were so much better than Michigan was. Holy crap, they were better.
Oh, I gotta mute myself, Mac.
The problem with what Michigan did on Saturday was the fact that the offensive line was not gelling and the play calling was not leaning into that. You saw Davis Warren start to make passes in that fourth quarter. Yeah, Texas was absolutely calling off the dogs. Texas took a break in that fourth quarter for sure. I will grant you that. Texas outmatched Michigan, outcoached Michigan. There was nothing that Michigan could do that would have put Michigan back into that game. If Michigan had a better game plan coming into the game, maybe it's a closer game, but Texas still clears. The thing is that Michigan does have talent. Michigan does have really good coaches. Michigan doesn't have the talent necessary to beat a team like Texas, probably not a team like Ohio State right now, but a team that's struggling like Oregon. If they figure a couple of things out, maybe they give USC a run for their money, especially if they can use this Arkansas State game to get Davis Warren a few more reps throwing the ball around. My thing is this. Every team is going to stack the box against Michigan for the rest of the season. If Michigan doesn't have a running game, then you've not just stopped their primary mode of attack. You have completely stripped them of their entire identity. Michigan is running the football. That's what they do. That's who they are. If you take that away from them and Michigan doesn't know who they are, then no, of course they're not going to win. So for this game, what I want to see is Davis Warren throwing the ball a lot. I want him to get better at it so that when he does it in a game that matters, not that this one doesn't matter, but like when he does it against USC, when he does it against Oregon, those teams are going to look at him and be like, okay, he's not the world's best passer. Maybe he's 2021 Cade McNamara, but it's at least good enough to get them to back out of the box a little bit so that Michigan can set up the running game. If that happens, it's a completely different season. I think Michigan still has a ceiling of somewhere around 9-3. Maybe if we're lucky, 10-2 with an upset somewhere. But if Michigan can't do that, then yeah, 7-5, 6-6. And honestly, however it shakes out, I don't care. We just won a natty. We've got a really good recruiting class coming in. Sharon Moore has proven himself as an offensive coordinator. I'm good, man. I'm good.
Did you give a pick?
Also 45-6, Michigan.
45-6. All right.
Can I just collect a receipt real quick? Because I'm pretty sure that on the last, I think it was when Peter and I were the only ones on here, I made the claim that Donovan Edwards was not RB1. He will never be RB1. And that is completely true.
Absolutely true. Yes.
And you know what? I saw that during the TCU game when Corum was out. Other than a a long run at the beginning of the game when the hole is like wide open, you can drive a truck through. He was getting like 1 or 2 yards per carry. Then I tried to tell all Michigan fans, but they said no. They thought I was a madman. So.
Rob, don't forget, before those 2 runs against Ohio State, he was averaging 2.1.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, you're both absolutely right. The Donovan Edwards conundrum is something that is going to bother me probably for the rest of my life. The fact that the guy can be absolutely absent during whatever games and then show up and show out against Ohio State is something I will never understand that. I've said before that he's kind of the all or nothing back. And coming into this season, yeah, I thought he was going to have a breakout season because he kind of had like this mental shift that he was working on. He was trying to be more patient in his running. It's not happening. He's not running back 1. He should be a slot receiver. Honestly, if Michigan wanted to use him in some sort of a proper way, he should be a slot receiver because he's got some speed, he's got some moves. But Mullings should be RB1 and Benjamin Hall should be running back 2.
I think Edwards is going to make his money in the pros. I mean, yes, he's going to be drafted. He's too good of an athlete. I think he's going to make his money in the pros as a third down back who catches passes out of the backfield.
Exactly. Yes.
I do want to give him credit, though. I do want to give Donovan Edwards credit because a few months ago, I said, I expect him to have a good year because there's no way he can do worse than last year. He proved me wrong.
Hey.
Wow.
Oh, man.
Kirk Hamill's got to get creative with the offensive identity. He's got to scheme some people open. I mean, right now, the only routes that Morris and Morgan are reliable on are cross routes. Like you said, Mac, you got to put Edwards somewhere else, and you got to think outside the box. You have to scheme people open and scheme your way down the field because right now it seems the offensive talent just is not present. And so, and then defensively, man, you got to clean up those missed tackles. Yeah. Mason Graham, they moved him all over the defensive line. I don't know what they were thinking with that concept versus Texas. Texas completely removed him from the game plan.
It was the 3rd and 5, bring in Orji to run it up the middle to lose 2 yards that they did multiple times that I was beginning to think was on purpose, and I didn't understand that at all.
Yeah. And here's the thing also about Alex Orji. So I think fans really loved him because he came in a couple of times against Ohio State. He did pretty well running the ball, and doing good against obviously one of the biggest rivals, Michigan's biggest rivals, can blind you from the biggest picture. And I'm not surprised that Alex Orji is not the starter, but a lot of other Michigan fans were blinded by those couple runs that had against Ohio State. That was a pretty big contribution to their win. So, I mean, I guess I was right about Alex Orji too. So it just seemed like he was kind of a distraction against Fresno State. Like he was standing on the sideline by the coach and just like, okay, are they going to put him in? And when they did put him in, it was so obvious that they were going to have him run.
Yeah. My thing with Alex Orji is I don't understand. Like I thought he was going to be the starter, and I thought it was because Michigan was going to shift towards more of an RPO style offense. And it feels like they tried that out a little bit during camp and then totally backed away from it, probably because his completion percentage was just that crappy during fall camp. I mean, if you can't pass,
the P part. Exactly.
Yeah, you got to. If you can't pass, then you've literally lost 1/3 of your offense. So yeah, I don't know. That was my thing with Alex Orji, though. At least the guy gave you options, and maybe if Davis Warren can end up being 2021 Cade McNamara, then things end up maybe a little bit different. But I don't know. I still have Michigan with a ceiling of maybe 9-3.
So instead of check down Cade, it's going to be check down Warren. Got it.
Yes.
Oh man, I don't think Michigan Nation's happy with their AD Ward Manuel. I don't think they.
I think Ward Manuel is the glue. Listen, I took a complete 180 on Ward Manuel. I think he's the glue at Michigan right now. I think he is. Think about all of because I don't know if you guys know this, but take away the football aspect of it. You got a basketball coach and a team that can't keep their hands off other people. You got I'm not gonna get into depth about the hockey program. Like he's had to deal with a lot, man, and I don't know a lot of ADs that could deal with all that and keep a cool head.
Yeah.
I
saw
good hires too. As a result
Dusty
of this
May.
Yeah.
He hired Dusty May. I mean, so far that's turned out to be a pretty awesome hire. I saw an interview he did with Sam Webb from the Michigan Insider not too long ago, where he kind of went behind the scenes and talked about all of the stuff that's been going on and how he's trying to hold it all together. And I mean, it's one of those things, like, from the outside looking in, we are privy to maybe 5% of the information that is actually going on. So you have no idea behind the scenes. Like, everybody's saying, fire Ward Manuel because he couldn't keep Harbaugh at Michigan. Well, it's pretty clear Harbaugh wanted to go win a Super Bowl. So even there, that's pretty obvious. But also, like, you don't know what the negotiations were. You don't know what they were talking about. And he even said, look, I want to go win a Super Bowl. At some point, I'm going to go try and do that. And Ward Manuel supported him. So whatever, we know that now. But you can't try and form an opinion about something that you don't know anything about. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. Yeah.
No.
Well, okay, so I've kept you guys a lot longer than I expected. I appreciate you guys hanging out. If we could do this real quick, we can do pick one team or the other. Given Indiana is, like I said earlier, storming the castle. Indiana plays UCLA this weekend. Who wins, Indiana or UCLA? Mac, who you got?
Indiana.
Jackson.
Indiana 38-28.
Garrison.
My favorite campus in the United States, Indiana.
Rob.
Indiana.
Pete.
Kurt Signetti. He's building some down in Bloomington.
Yeah.
Hoosiers take the dub.
Nice.
I'll be honest, because I know where everybody's kind of poo-pooed the Western Illinois win, which I understand because, I mean, Western Illinois is not exactly North Dakota State. And I know Florida International doesn't have Mario Cristobal, and he's not coming back there anytime soon. But if they can beat the UCLA Bruins on Saturday night on NBC, their road to bowl eligibility is going to be much, much easier. And, it's going to be a beautiful partnership between Indiana football and Kurt Signetti. Matter of fact, we're seeing that right now.
Mm-hmm.
I truly think UCLA is the bottom dweller in the conference and will be for the
UCLA is god awful.
I gave them the nickname of last place.
There you go.
I think everybody at UCLA that handled that whole kerfuffle with Chip Kelly deciding whether he needed to return or not, and then he left him out of the blue for Ohio State, not for a head coaching position, just he left to go be the right-hand man to Ryan Day just to get away from that hellhole called UCLA.
I was just about to say that.
Because I got to be honest, everybody involved in that situation at the UCLA athletic department, they all need to be fired. All of them. They all need to go.
Yep.
I felt bad for their new head coach at the Big Ten Media Day.
Yeah, he didn't ask for any of
He was
that.
like, "Yeah, UCLA, we're located so and so," and I'm just like,
in LA.
What
Else do you want to know?
The Bruins, they should have just fired Chip Kelly and then promoted DeAnt Lynn from within. Honestly, that's what they should have done.
DeAnt Lynn came from UCLA?
Yeah, he was their defensive coordinator last year.
Oh my gosh, you're right.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that was a swing and a miss. Holy crap.
I mean, they had a chance to keep him there, and they blew it because he's now he's the DC at USC, and he is going to be just fine.
Yeah, in some other programs, they rather go hire guys that've been fired from the last 2 NFL jobs and hire them as their DC. But hey,
yeah. All right, guys. I'm going to call it there. I'm going to let you. Yeah, I'm going to let you go one at a time here. Jackson, I'll let you go first. Why don't you give us the rundown again, just because I love to hear you run through this list. Give us the list of all your socials.
Well, you can find me at Jackson Johnson 979, where I'm 134 subs away from the magic number 500 on YouTube, where I've got some of my latest episodes of the Jacksonian. And you can also find my latest episodes of the Jacksonian on X at Jackson BOCFB. And you can find me on Jackson Johnson 543908 on Instagram and Threads, where I give my takes on what's going on here and there, everywhere. And of course, you can find me on Alabama at the Voice of College Football Monday afternoons, 5 p.m. Central Time, 6 p.m. Eastern Time, with my co-host Johnny Burtz for the latest on Crimson Tide Live. And you can also check out the latest episode of Crimson Tide Live, where we had the host of Locked On Badgers, Ryan Herrings, where we previewed the Alabama-Wisconsin matchup. And let me tell you something, it was a fun episode. So tune in every Monday afternoons for Crimson Tide Live on Alabama at the Voice of College Football.
Awesome. Well, everybody get out there and follow Jackson. Jackson, thank you very much for being on. We'll talk to you soon.
Well, thanks for having me on, man.
All right. Garrison, let's go to you. Give us your socials. What do you got?
All right, yeah, so you can find me.
I don't know that anyone really wants to hear from Garrison right now.
Oh, that's probably true. I should just let him go now.
Come on, man.
Bye, Garrison.
I really got to go to the restroom.
Yep.
So, but yeah, you can. Oh man, Mac, you can find me at Buckeye_Gaddy on X, and also my awesome co-host Bryce R. Sack. You can find him there also, and we are the Scarlet Blue Show on X, Instagram, and Facebook, and on YouTube. We dropped an episode yesterday. You can see me party it up in Bryce's sorrow and misery. But oh yeah, man, horns up. But and then yeah, man, you can catch us on usually on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
All right, yeah, everybody go follow the Scarlet and Blue Show. It's an awesome show. I love you guys over there. You're doing great work.
Thanks, man. See you guys.
Thank you very much for being on. See you later.
See ya.
Love you.
Welcome back.
All right, Rob and Pete, you guys want to go at the same time? You got
yeah, Rob, you go first and I'll finish out.
Yeah, sure. So you can find Peter and I on our YouTube channel, Buckeyes Battle Cry. You know, we're currently on 500. We're really trying to grow the show. So we go live every Thursday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And my TikTok is also at Buckeye Rob 13.
All right, Pete.
Yeah, like you said, live every Thursday at 8:30 to preview the upcoming weekend's games and just storylines of college football. And then on Sundays, we do a video we drop called the Champs and Chumps Show, just the weekend recap of all the things that were in college football and just breaking everything down. So you can find both Rob and I over there, Buckeyes Battle Cry, on Facebook and Instagram. On TikTok is Buckeyes Battle Cry as well, where I basically post the same videos I post to YouTube. So.
All right, yeah, everybody get out there and follow these guys. I really like what you guys do on your show. I enjoy watching those videos.
Appreciate
it.
Yeah.
You guys are doing great work over there. I especially like the chutzpah of you doing your videos out in front of Michigan Stadium. That was especially fantastic.
Depending how the season goes, we may have to revisit Ann Arbor because before the season, like back in like February, March, we got a sign and wrote that Sharon Moore will go. What was it, Peter? 9-3.
9-3. Went to the Diag and hung out for a bit.
So we may have to go back and collect the receipts depending on how the season goes. So
there you go.
I mean, I'll take it. That sounds great. 9-3. Let's do it.
9-3 sounds really good right now. Yeah.
Let's go, man.
What it sounds like right now.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much, guys.
Capital One Bowl appearance. Sorry. Anyway.
That's all right. Thank you very much, guys, for being on the show. Really appreciate it. And you guys will be back soon for sure.
Definitely.
Take care, guys.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Right. Take care, guys. All right.
Another
that was
awesome
a good show.
Panel. Yeah. It was.
We got to bring everybody back.
Garrison, you're welcome back, I guess. If you're still watching, I don't know if you're still, but you can come back, I guess.
Thanks, everybody out there, for hanging out with us. Don't forget to check out the teamrivalry.com website, where you can follow along or join us anyway with the Pigskin Showdown. You can get on there. You can register and put in your picks for all of the Big Ten games and be on the leaderboard. We've got a couple of people joining us on the leaderboard right now. We will be going over I wanted to go over it tonight, but we're way over on our time. So maybe we'll hit that on a midweek video. We'll go over some of that Pigskin Showdown on the website. Also, check out Michigan football at the Voice of College Football. You can see our show, Point a Minute, which will be, as Max said earlier, it'll be up at 9 a.m. tomorrow morning, provided I get out of here and get it edited. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Most importantly, join us next Monday night here on the Big Ten Team Rivalry Show, where we will have the Pigskin Showdown Week 4.
Boom.
Provided I can get our panel back. Mac, anything you want to add?
Lions Super Bowl run started last night. Overtime victory versus the Rams. It was a good game. It game. Yeah.
Very nice. Yeah.
We're going to
right.
the Super Bowl. Super Bowl or bust.
That's going to do it for us. Enjoy football. Go Blue. Have fun. And Mac, take us out.
This is the Big Ten Team Rivalry Show. Good night, everybody.
Good night.